Hi guys, Asmo here, and today I have for you a complete heist guide. And some of you who see the thumbnail and the title of the video might be like, hey Asmo, I thought you don't like heist. I thought you really don't like heist. I thought you removed all of the heist items from your loot filters, and in the past league that was the case. However, we haven't quite predicted how much the farming strategies will be nerfed in this league. So in this league I'm actually testing heist, and it's actually kind of better than every other farming strategy. So today I'm gonna give you everything I learned, including the leveling progress, how to gear your rogues, whether you should farm or buy the contracts and blueprints, which ones to run, how to run them, whether the trinket is worth, and all of the information that you need to know. So let's start with why you would want to run heist, right? Heist, in my opinion, is probably the most profitable farming strategy. It is probably the most profitable farming strategy, short of, flipping or any other kind of like a hideout hero activity, such as crafting. Anything other than those things, you're probably gonna make most money while heisting if you optimize it. Heist also has insane amount of optimization to be done. There is still much more to be done than I'm doing, for example, and I'm already making very big amounts of currency, much bigger I think than I would be making, for example, like Harbinger farming with like the sextant forcing and stuff like that, right? I think this is probably better in terms of just pure currency. Another reason is the experience. The experience you're gaining is really massive, which helps you also level gems. I'm just casually running some contracts. I look at my experience, like 45 million per hour XP. It's pretty good. It's definitely noticeable. I actually hit a higher level than I thought I would hit on this character, even though it's not a very tanky character. I hit like 96 very quickly. So it's very easy, and it's not that difficult once you get into it. So let's talk about leveling the rogues, which is the first thing that you're gonna have to do. I recommend just leveling all of the rogues. There is, I think, maybe I'm missing one job on someone, like demolition on Tibbs, because you're never gonna use him for that reason. But for the most part, you want to level all of your rogues, especially their main job. Everybody should have their main job on the highest level, and then some important ones like Karst, Vindiri, and Nanette, and Tulina should have all of their jobs leveled up as high as possible. I recommend picking up the contract quests and using them for leveling. The quests are basically free contracts that you're getting as like guaranteed drops while you're progressing through the quest line, and after you finish them you also are going to be dropping unique contracts. Unique contracts are kind of pointless, however these ones actually you can run with Gianna to get Gianna reveals. I think if you kill the boss you probably get a Gianna reveal. I have to test that yet, but you can put Gianna in those if you have her ranked up appropriately. I'm gonna show you later how, but so you get a lot of these quest contracts which you can use for leveling them, right? And the quest contracts, they're made for that because on purpose they have very low job requirements, so you won't have to go into your stash tab and be like, oh, okay, which ones are, this is level 4, I cannot run that, so okay, level 1, okay, I can run level 1. So you're gonna be doing that with the quests. That's why they are important. And if before, like, I recommend doing, that's what you should be doing first, right? Because I did the mistake of first leveling my rogues and then deciding, okay, I'm gonna do the quests and see how they are, if they're rewarding and so on. The quests are like whatever, they're not particularly better or worse than regular contracts, but you don't really want to focus on running them later on. So you use them just for leveling your rogues. Once you level your rogues, then you're gonna be running some contracts, and the question is, should you farm the contracts or should you buy the contracts? Because you can very easily go to TFT, to the Forbidden Trove Discord, and you can just buy contracts in bulk, right? The problem with that is that you're going to be buying other people's garbage, okay? When I farm my own contracts, I farm my own blueprints, and I save myself the good ones, and then the shitty ones I sell on TFT. I get blueprints which have like really good rewards. I keep the good rewards for myself, and then the ones that have shitty rewards I throw them to other people. I pick the precious and priceless contracts, which I'm gonna talk about in a moment. Basically, I pick the good ones and I sell the bad ones, and that's what many people are doing as well. Some people just pick them all up, never engage with the mechanic, and sell you them randomly. Some people just sell things that look good, but they're not necessarily actually good, right? So you never know what you're getting, and and there's a little bit more nuance to it than people understand. So I would personally just farm them. It's actually faster, right? It's actually more efficient. The way you farm them is you just basically spam maps in Lyra Arthane. You can chisel the maps because you get insane amount of chisels from Heist. You can alch them with some easy mods, and then you can run fragments because you also get tons of fragments while heisting. So you're gonna have your map sustain accounted for, no problem. You need to pick these nodes. They give you increased stack size of rogue markers, so you get more rogue markers. You get to have plus 10% chance to contain smuggler's cache on top of the Zana map device smuggler's cache, so you can have 2 or 3 smuggler's caches in a map. And then you're also gonna have 100% increased chance to drop blueprints, as well as blueprints have 10% chance to be fully revealed. I also run watchstones. 4 watchstones, all of them have 10% more blueprints found in areas. They're pretty easy to roll or buy for a couple of X, and it's a good investment if you're planning on running a lot of blueprints long term. If you're planning to just try them for a day, then they're not worth getting, but if you're planning to run a lot of blueprints, then they are worth getting, and you're getting extra chance for blueprints also from the 25% increased effect of watchstone modifiers. So 10%, I think it runs down to being like 12%, so you get like 48% increased chance, and this is 100, so 148% increased chance to get blueprints. And you just spam maps. I don't even kill the boss, I just like spam them, like kill all the monsters in the area very quickly, and not even all, like just as soon as the counter of like 50 monsters remaining goes down, or not even, I'd leave them up, right? As soon as I revealed all the area and made sure that I found all of the smuggler's caches, I leave the area and I pop in the next map. It takes a few seconds to run a map like that with a quick character such as this, and it's very quick. So you basically in 20 minutes can get few hours worth of contracts and blueprints to run, which is very nice. Also, you get a lot of coins, right? So I personally prefer to farm them. I have not bought a single coin, I have not bought a single contract, and I have not bought a single blueprint this league. And so far in the past few days, I farmed, let's see, like 50, 60, plus this, like 75 exalts, like 75 to 80 exalts in the past 2 days. And that is all just from running Heist, right? Without buying any contracts, blueprints, or coins. You can completely self-sustain that, and in my opinion it's much better, because it's better to, like, if instead of sitting in the Forbidden Trove and trading and like looking for the right things, like sorting through all those people's garbage and then giving them money for it, it's better to run the maps, make the money while you're doing it. You can do like your Awakener progress and stuff, you get some loot in those maps, and also maps. You get some XP while you're doing it, you're playing the game, and you're getting much better quality blueprints and great quality contracts as well to sort through yourself. So that is a much better way of doing this in my opinion. The next thing is gearing the rogues, right? You're gonna have to gear your rogues if you are planning on investing in Heist and running it for the actual juicy profit. It is a very important step that many people don't, many people underestimate, right? So let's talk about all the items. The first thing is the foliate brooch, right? I don't bother gearing my rogues up before I get the rank 5 like level 5 required items. I think you should just level your rogues, and then as you find the level 5 required items, which you will find even if you run your contracts white, you'll find plenty of them, then you roll them, right? You don't need to buy them, you just roll them yourself with basically scour and binding, right? Just scour binding, or scour alch, and you can roll them yourself. And basically the first thing that you want to roll is the brooches. For brooches you want to have, of course, like Bless Orb, the rarity to 30%, and then you want to have a chance for duplicating basic currency and increased rogue markers value of the primary Heist target. This is what it will give you. This will give you, number one, 15% more currency dropping, and if you have it on the relevant rogues, you're gonna be opening like currency chests, such as for example in lockpicking with Karst. So this is the T1 highest roll is 15%. Chance to duplicate contain basic currency, which includes exalts, for example, which includes chaos, which includes all of the good currencies. And then also increased rogue markers value of the primary Heist target. This means basically when you do the Heist contract and you get the target at the end, and then you bring it here and you sell it to the fence, you are going to get more coins, which means it's going to be easier for you to sustain coins, and you're going to be able to run more blueprints as well. So those two mods together, it's very easy to roll them. I rolled it myself on all of the characters that I needed: duplicate currency, rogue marker value, duplicate currency, rogue marker value, duplicate currency, rogue marker value. And for Gianna I rolled duplicate divination cards with rogue marker value, because with Gianna you're doing missions there where there are divination cards dropping a lot, so that's what I would recommend for her. I am still testing whether the stacked decks are duplicated or not. I haven't really noticed them duplicating yet, but at least the regular cards can be duplicated. So that's when it comes to the brooch, that's what you want on that. When it comes to the cloak, because that's another universal item that's going to be shared between all of the characters. So you want to make sure that you get some kind of a reduced level of alert, right? Reduced raising of alert level from opening chests. That's the important mod, and the best one is like 12%. If you happen to get, for example, something like a chance for opening a chest to not generate alert level, that is also pretty good. You can also use that. And you can combine that with job speed, especially for someone like Vendiri who really needs a lot of job speed because he's pretty slow. You want to get the job speed on it as well as reduced raising of alert level from opening chests. These things stack in blueprints, so if you have multiple characters with these, they will stack on top of each other, and you will have, if everybody who you're running has this, as you can see, like where is it, reduced level of raising alert 9%. For Gianna, right, Nanette has 11%, so everybody who I'm running has this, right? 9% reduced plus job speed. So this is really, really good because I can open more chests because of that. So that's what you want on the cloak. Then when it comes to their job item, the job item is actually like the most important item, I would have to say. By far the most important item, because it increases their bonus. If you look here, let me show you, let me grab a blueprint for example. The reason why you do Gianna, right, is to have cheaper reveals. Look at this. If I want to reveal a blueprint with Gianna right now, this is 45% discount, right? But if I take this item off, right, if I take this item off, come on, blueprint reveals, now this is 40% discount, right? So I'm getting a 4% discount somehow from this item. How does that happen? How does that work, right? I'm getting 5% discount. Look at Vendiri. He has 14% chance to duplicate items. There you go. 2% more, suddenly got 2% quantity, right? Karst, 45% or 40% less of raising the alert level. This is all because of the +1 to the level of, I think, their main job, but it's better to get the +1 to level of all jobs for Heist. In order to do that, you have to have an item that is item level at least 81, and you roll this with alterations. The way I did this, you need about 200 alterations on average to roll it. So you just type all job, okay, you put the item here, and then you spam alterations until it highlights, and then when it highlights, it's like you just regal that and you equip that on your rogue. The +1 to all job levels means that I can take Karst in my blueprints for like level 3 agility or level 4 perception, right? It means that I can take Vendiri for level 3 engineering missions as well, right? Which means I can take Vendiri, I can take Karst, I can take Tulina more often, right? Because she also has like +1. So I can have the less raising of alert level more often, and I can have Vendiri more often in my blueprints, which is just multiplying the amount of loot I can get. So this +1 to level of all jobs is like the most important item on the characters that you wanna pick basically in every single heist. I need to put one for Nanette probably as well, for the counter thaumaturgy level 5, and then I will also be able to take her, so that's the next thing that I need to roll on my characters. But yeah, that's basically the items, plus also there is this one, right, the main item. The main item, this is basically something to benefit your character plus job speed. So if we look at what I have on some of these characters, we have like players and their minions have added physical damage. It helps my build. Also regeneration, right? Players and their minions regenerate 1% life per second. This also helps my build. Job speed, that also helps my build. So that's really, really good. Another thing you can get on those is also if you grab the ranged ones, which I have here, the precise arrowhead, you can also get on those, I think, haste aura. And Haste Aura will obviously speed you up, so the faster you can run Heist, the better. So that's another good thing to roll. Like you should probably have one of these characters with Haste Aura on it so that you can run the blueprints faster. And that's basically it when it comes to the gear. And because of the gear, a lot of things changes, right? Because of the gear, I'm gonna now talk to you about which contracts you should run and how you should run them. There is like a specific order of sorting through them, so I'm gonna show you that exactly right now. After you gear your rogues, here's why this job level is really important, right? You know how people buy the deception contracts for 9C on the TFT, for example, right? People like buying and selling the deception contracts for like 9C. Well, you can get away with buying counter thaumaturgy contracts for like 2C maybe, right? And still run them with Gianna mostly, except for like the level 5s, which is not that many of them, right? So because of this +1 level, I can run counter thaumaturgy, level 4 on her, and perception up to level 3. So what do you want to do when you grab contracts, right? When you run some maps and you grab a bunch of contracts, what you want to type is exactly like this, right? So first you want to put it in quotation marks, right? Because so that you don't have to write the whole name of the job, or you don't have to finish the words. So you want to have counter, then you want to make this like a column sign, which is like above your enter key, I think. Then you want to run perception, and then you want to run also, what's the last one? Deception, right? Deception. So this one will highlight all of those jobs, right? It will highlight literally all of those jobs. So I can go now, okay, deception she can run, perception she can run, deception again. So this is all Gianna that can run. She can run perception up to 3. She can run perception up to 3, so I can run that. Counter thaumaturgy 4, Gianna can run this. Counter 3, deception, perception, counter 4, deception, counter 2. Look how many Gianna missions I have here. Perception 2, perception 4 she cannot run, and then perception 3 she can. So instead of having only like this, like I'm gaining like few extra contracts for Gianna, which means I'm getting free reveals, right? I'm getting much more reveals, like many more reveals than I would have gotten otherwise. So that's why this is so powerful, because you get more reveals, more useful contracts. So those are the first contracts you should run, because for example Cars can also run some of these perception ones and so on, but you want to run Gianna first. Gianna is your priority, she's your bread and butter. Also the deception contracts are super easy, you can get out of them blazing fast because there are no doors on the way back, so they're really cool. So that's the first contract you run, that's the first batch. The second batch is you go through this and you just do lockpicking, right? You just grab everything lockpicking, and if you have some, that's good, and you basically run those with Karst, right? You run the lockpicking with Karst. After you run all the lockpicking ones, then you can run also like the tier B contracts, let's say, because the Gianna is like tier S, right? Lockpickings are tier S, and then let's say maybe tier A or tier B is the agility and demolition. Agility can have Harbinger orbs, which are very powerful. They can also have currency ones. Demolition ones can have Delirium. They can have Catalysts as well. So both of them are really good, but they're better at like level 5 requirement or level 4 requirement. The lower level ones are not necessarily as good, but they can be pretty good. They're not as consistent as just currency, but they're still pretty good. And after you run those, then you just go and look for your priceless and precious contracts. So what you want to do is just go to this, and wherever you keep them, right, just type priceless and then precious. Okay, you might not find any, but if you do, as you can see, we have a precious one here, right? You might find some other. Okay, we got another one here. This is precious, this is precious, this is priceless as well. So what that means is the heist target, you see the second line from the top on this contract, heist target, sword of the inverse relic, priceless. And for this one you are actually gonna get a shitload of markers. If you see this sword in here, if you sell this to the guy, you're gonna have like 4,000 markers, right? Easily, no problem. So this is a large amount of markers that you're getting that you can farm very quickly. So that's why you want to run these priceless and precious ones, because they have the targets that will give you the most markers, so you want to prioritize those as well. And after that, you can basically sell all of your remaining contracts for like 1 C a piece or 2 C a piece, however much people will buy for on TFT. That's what I would do. And after that, it's time for the blueprints. So which blueprints do you want to run? Also, one more word about contracts, because people ask this, right? So do you open the small chest, big chest? Do you finish the target and so on? I would say open the good chests. I'm gonna tell you which chests are good, talking about the blueprints, but open the good chests that are big. Open all the small ones that are on the way. Don't worry about like, oh, I have a little bit of the remaining alert left and I can open one more chest. So let me go back halfway through the contract and open one more chest. No, don't bother doing that. Just grab the thing from the end and run out. Grabbing the thing from the end is important. I do it like over 90% of the time. I grab the heist target. But I don't always do it. Sometimes I would rather just like open another good chest instead of grabbing that that like final target, right? Instead of getting like 5 C worth of coins, I would rather potentially get like 15 C worth of rewards, right? So that's why sometimes I don't get the last target, but most of the time I do. So blueprints. For blueprints, there is no very simple answer, because like the short answer would be basically like, which ones do you run? The good ones, right? Like the answer would be the good ones, because there is really no specific rule, but I can give you like a system of finding out which ones are good. So the way you want to look at it is a balance of reward rooms versus the heist target, right? So the best heist target is probably the unusual gems, because many people don't like heist, not that many people run it. The unusual gems are pretty expensive. On average, they're gonna sell for maybe like 50 C to 100 C. Like on average, you're gonna get at the end of every wing, which means you get like an X at least, just guaranteed by running it, right? It's like not to count any of the reward rooms. The reward rooms, on the other hand, are like the second part of it, right? So unusual gems are very good. I definitely recommend looking first at the unusual gem contracts, or rather blueprints. And then another one that is really good is also the trinkets and currency, right? The trinket and currency is very good one, because I don't actually have a single one here, but at the end of those you can also find, for example, delirium orbs. I have found exalted orbs, delirium orbs, like a stack of 3 or 4 delirium orbs is very common in these contracts, in these blueprints with trinkets and currency. Sometimes you're just gonna have like 4 C and like 20 alchemies, or like 8 alchemies, or like 7 stacked decks, but a lot of the time you're gonna get really good things. So I would say like tier S is the gems, then tier A would be like the trinkets, and then the rest is kind of downhill from there. The remaining ones are not that good, so you only run them when they have really good reward rooms. And what are the good reward rooms? So let's take a look at that, right? If we look at the reward rooms, this is, for example, a pretty decent one, right? It has 7 currency ones. It has actually nice breakdown. I will tell you which ones are good. So currency ones are very good. Then after that, harbinger ones are really good. Then after that, the fragment ones are really good as well. So I would say those are like the 3 best probably. The next ones are the metamorph, delirium, and fossil, as well as divination. Metamorph, fossil, delirium, divination, they're like the 4 B tier ones. They're still pretty good, so I would definitely open those. So I would count how many of those there are, right? So for example, if we count in here, we have 7 currency, we have 2 div cards, that makes it 9 good ones. We have 2 harbi, that makes it 11, and then 12, 13 from the like delirium and metamorph. So that's like 13 good rooms, but it's on an enchanted armaments base, right? But if we look at some unusual gems, let's see something that has like good amount of rooms. Where are other unusual gems? There are some other unusual gems as well, I think here. There we go. So this one for example has like 3, and then 5 div cards, that's 8, and then harbi, that's 12, and then fossils, that's 14, right? That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty decent one to run as well, right? So you're gonna make solid amount of money. It's also level 83, which always helps. So that's what you want to look out for, right? Just count the amount of good rooms and take it against like the heist target reward, and prioritize the unusual gems, in my opinion, and also the currency and the trinket ones, because they can very reliably and very reliably they can give you good profit without being like too unreliable. Like the other ones are pretty unreliable. The enchanted armaments, sure, they can give you like the orb that will let you enchant something, but they're not really good, and only outrun them if they have like really good amounts of reward rooms in them. And of course you want to reveal only the rooms that you're interested in, right? You don't want to reveal all of the rooms. Let me grab let's say let me grab some gems one, for example, right? Where's unusual gems? This one I think is maybe the better one. It's not too good actually. Where was the good one? Where was the better one? Unusual gems. Unusual gems. Where is it? Unusual gems. This one, 83. So this one I thought was like maybe good. So let's reveal this one, right? We want to grab Gianna, reveal the big things, and then you only want to reveal like currency from here. You don't want to reveal essences or breach or talisman. You can reveal div cards and Harby, and then you can reveal like currency, metamorph, and delirium, and that's it. And those are the reveals that I would go for. And then basically you go to the planning room and assign people to it. And obviously, is it this one? No, it's this one. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. Okay, that's the wrong one. Doesn't matter. So in this one you want to assign Vindiri as much as possible, Karst as much as possible, and then Tulina, for example, right? This is the great combo that you can have. We have another Vindiri, Karst, Tulina, and then we have another Vindiri. Oh, here's a Vindiri, so we can put Tulina here and Karst here. So this is a really nice combo. This is a pretty shitty one, other than the fact that it has gems. I would still run it, because it has really good combos here. You can run it pretty quickly. Just open a bunch of small chests in here. You're probably gonna get a bunch of extra currency, grab the good gems, and that's it, right? So that's an example of a simple contract that will probably bring me, if I had to guess, like on average would be like, I don't know, maybe 4x, 5x, something like that, maybe more, depends on how good the rewards will be, right? Because the rewards really add up. This one has actually not that many rooms, so maybe like 3-4x, something like that. But the rewards really add up. Once you start looking at the prices of the gems, you should level the gems yourself after you run the blueprint. Put the gems in your offhand and level them in the contracts, and you have like a rotation, right? But you get a lot of ancient orbs, like whole ancient orbs dropping, which is like immediately like 13-14C. You get stacked decks dropping a lot. You get insane amounts of chisels. So it's a very good thing to run. The last thing I'm going to talk about is going to be the trinket. Is the trinket worth it? So I currently have a trinket that has 1% chance in Heist for Chaos Orbs to drop as Exalted Orbs instead. And this mod is currently for 50x, right? So currently you pay 50x to get this, which means you have to find 5,000 Chaos in order for this to pay you back. So I would consider getting this if you're planning to run Heist for long term. If you're planning to run it for like a week or more, then it is definitely worth it to get the trinket, because you can also very often sell it afterwards. After you're done with Heist, you can potentially sell the trinket, and if it's for a similar price, then you simply just gained the extra currency for free pretty much, right? Just for putting some investment away, and then you can cash out on that, cash in on that, or whatever, however you say it. But this is very good. But if you're just trying to like try Heist and see how you like it, don't get the trinket, because it's not gonna have that big of an impact. You might get lucky, you might find a few. Even if you're running for a day, you will find a few exalts from this, but it's not gonna be that impactful if you're just trying it out. But if you try it out and you see, okay, this is actually some ridiculous amounts of currency, I'm getting so much stuff, I actually want to run this for a while and get to, like, I don't know, I want to farm 200x or something, right? If you want to farm that amount of currency from Heist, I would say it's definitely worth getting it. So get one as soon as you can afford it. That's what I did. I farmed Heist for basically a day and a half, and I could afford getting this trinket, and that's what I would recommend for you to do if you're planning on running Heist long term. Otherwise, don't bother getting it, because you need to play like quite a long time for this to pay out. But that's basically it. So hopefully this clarifies for you guys how to run Heist, why to run Heist, and if you have any questions you can post them in the comments below, or you can check out my stream at Asmodeus stream on Twitch. I always try to answer all of the questions. Thank you guys for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.